It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every day at noon Eastern. That's 9 a.m. Pacific. For about an hour each day. We do 3 gun-related topics, different topics throughout the week. We pick those topics on the beginning of the show on Mondays. We are going to give away a free sticker to the first person on Gun Channels that says something, because everybody's just sleeping over there. So we run it live on YouTube. We simulcast it over on Gun Channels for some reason, even though nobody's chatting over there. And then every once in a while we'll take the best of audio and post that on iTunes as a podcast. So we encourage anybody who's listening to the show now or in the future who takes the time to give us a thumbs up or comment on the video once it's rendered or in the live chats now. Any participation with the channels on the various platforms we do appreciate, because it helps those shows to get recommended to more listeners. It also lets us know as human beings that there's other people out there listening to the show. Appreciate our efforts. So we do appreciate your giving us that info. So we have hosts. We have Bob jumping in from Canada. Thanks for joining.
Oh, yeah. Glad to be here, man.
Then we got Jimmy running the show in Phoenix.
Hey, very good to be here.
And still nothing on Gun Channels. We might as well just shut down Gun Channels. Nobody's even using it. I'm going to go flip the switch. I'll be right back. All right. So today is Friday. We'll be talking about gun tech and the gun business and our alternative topic. It's episode 425. So let's see. Today we'll be doing gun tech, dual caliber firearms that have more than 2 caliber or more than 1 caliber in them. We got the gun biz, guns and food, and then gun topics. We'll talk about unlicensed copies today. Every day we talk about a gun shop, a gun of the day, movie, and everything else. But before we dig in, we usually take a break at the beginning to see if anything happened overnight that's worth talking about.
Well, I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be able to put more input on it than me, because I didn't listen to the whole thing. But Clover had a really awesome chat last night. He was breaking down the whole Hickok video and stuff, and it was pretty cool.
Yes, and it did make a great drinking game to drink every time Hickok contradicted himself. It was a great time, actually. I think, if I remember right.
Yeah, but that's about it. Oh yeah, you know what? There was let's see here. A new kind of pro-gun bill. Trying to find where it was. HR 3280.
Oh, wow.
Let's see here. It is support HR 3280. It stops Operation Choke Point. And anybody that remembers the Operation Choke Point, that was when the banks were cutting off services to certain industries, and the FFL retailers were kind of targeted in that. Hang on. Okay, so during its tenure, the Obama Justice Department implemented a policy known as Operation Choke Point, in which it tried to choke off access to banking and financial services to industries that it viewed disfavor. With disfavor, federal licensed firearm retailers were directly targeted as well. The Financial Services and General Government Appropriations Act introduces protections from such an operation in the future. This is an important piece of legislation that strives to limit the size and scope and power of the bureaucratic overreach and protect the fundamental right to lawful commerce in arms from political intervention and oppression. And they have a little thing to sign too that I'll share real fast.
So this would be the same kind of thing they were trying to do to the legal pot growers and sellers in Colorado, right? Is we say it's against the law, we're going to make it illegal for you to use the banks.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
that's bullshit.
Yeah, so this is a bill to kind
That was
of.
something that is against federal law, but it's a law against. It's not against state law, I guess, but not a constitutionally protected right.
Exactly, yeah. Whereas obviously firearms are. So yeah, it's good to see something positive out there. I guess it's something.
Yeah, I'd rather see less legislation and laws, and then more ingenuity, and then, like Bob said, take the lead from whatever the pot people are doing with money, and just get a new currency system or a new way of dealing with it. You know, if they want to make it so that the electronic commerce isn't working, then come up with another way. The pot people are going to do that. So the banks will say, "Oh, we don't want to deal with you," in enough times that people just say, "You're right. Let's not deal with banks."
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
You know, we certainly live in a place where you could have some sort of a coupon thing or some sort of a S&H trading stamp that you barter with, and then just cash it out or cash in on them, you know, to purchase them someplace else where you're only buying the stamps, and then you do what you want with the stamps or something.
Mm-hmm. Well, have you like? I mean, there's been a lot of just it's kind of on subject, and it's about money. The cashless society that you know the government would love us to go cashless, right? Because then they can keep track of us and where we're spending money. And you know, then what happens if you decide that you want to use cash? You can't, right? You don't have any. So does that then would that then force us into a barter society? But it would certainly control people buying anything that the government was against, right? Because you couldn't legally, buy things if you have to use a credit card or some kind of bank card rather than just.
You wouldn't. People would just make their own little script, and then people would just buy that script and then sell that script.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of what the governments do now? Just make up their own money?
No.
No. What guarantees the money?
I guarantee we'll move on to the next topic, and you and HVS can have this chat all you want some Monday. Go into gun tech, dual caliber firearms, calibers that have more than one caliber in each gun.
I think that's a good idea. I like it.
So are we talking Medusa style, or are we talking like Judge, like 45, 410? I guess they're both.
Or are we talking like
both, and something with like a rifle barrel and a shotgun barrel?
Exactly. 410 22 rimfire, or 222 and 12 gauge, that kind of thing, like a rifle caliber and then a shotgun caliber.
Yeah, you know what I like? We were kind of G-Webs, you were sort of talking about it the other day when we were talking about shotguns and stuff, those little inserts. I think those are really awesome. I like those. Where you can put like a 357 tube inside of a shotgun and shoot 357s out of it, that kind of thing. 22s, all that.
Well, that's okay if they're like the long ones that are rifled, but the little short ones I think are almost useless, just because of.
Bob's never shot them or anything, but they're useless.
I didn't even know that you made a short.
Similar things, but no, if you don't have a rifle barrel, you're not going to get any kind of accuracy. Like the really short little inserts, unless it's a shotgun insert going into another bigger shotgun, I just don't see the validity of the pistol cartridge with a 2.5-inch insert out of an 18-inch shotgun barrel. It's just I don't know. It just seems to me like it's almost like a.
Because I've shot them and they're fine. I'll just watch the videos. I mean, they tumble a little bit, but they don't just. There's no reason for them to just. There's no rifling, so there's nothing to send them off in some crazy direction. Just like shooting a Derringer. Derringers don't just shoot 6 feet left or right randomly. They just don't shoot. They don't spin very good.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. I guess.
Anyway, they work pretty good, and that's kind of taking it off because we're talking guns that have more than one caliber, and with the insert, any shotgun could be more than one caliber, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, if we're talking something like a rifle barrel on top and a shotgun barrel on the bottom, or vice versa, whichever way it's set up, I think they're a great idea. I think that's an excellent firearm choice, and in that, you know, for a kind of a prepper survival type situation where you're not going to be doing, you know, combat, but you just need something to hunt with. Excellent. Because you can get them in decent calibers, you know, you can get 12 gauge and, you know, 308.
That would be, I suppose.
Yeah, because you can pretty much take any game you want.
But I like how when preppers sit around, they just the chaotic future just changes to appeal to whatever their fantasy is. So they don't need a gun for defense or anything, because in the future, when you're prepping or whatever, or you've done prepped and you're now using what you prepped, you can just walk around in the forests casually with a 2-shot rifle hunting, and there's just nobody else around. Like, you've successfully come through the storm, I guess, alone.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, I would look at it as that's something that you put away, and, you know, maybe it's the next generation can use them, because at that point they're now limited. They have limited ammo, so they want to be really careful about ammo usage, and all they've got to do with it is hunt. Possibly at the very, you know, maybe you might have to defend yourself against one lone zombie survivor kind of thing. But yeah, for the next generation, I think it's, you know, and it's something you can put away, and it won't, you know, like, they're very simple guns, so it'd be easy to vacuum bag it and bury it, or vacuum bag it and put it in the back of the cache or whatever.
Well, it's probably another discussion, but if, again, you're talking like somebody who's dealing with stuff after a catastrophe and there's 8 rounds left, I don't think those people are going to put those 8 rounds into a semi-auto and go bang, 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 bang. I think they're going to have the wherewithal to go, oh, I should only pull the trigger once because there's 8 bullets left for the rest of the future. You know, so I can understand it, but then again, I think you guys are prepping too much, come into these fantasies. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to have all kinds of extra room to keep guns around for the next generation. I say whittle a new gun for that generation.
Or teach them to make their own guns.
Or just let them use your M16. I mean, like I say, you don't have to pull the trigger 1,000 times. Just flip it to semi and only shoot once. I think people are smart. Anyway, we're talking theoretical prepping, not dual caliber firearms.
You're right.
Wasn't the game? Didn't it have a 2 caliber option? Or am I crazy?
Which one? I'm sorry, I was talking over you.
The Game Getter, one of the guns that was grandfathered after the NFA. It was like a little shotgun. It was kind of just a big Derringer, really, but I guess it was for shooting rabbits or vermin.
Right. Was it the Marble Game Getter?
Yeah, for some reason I'm thinking those had, like you were saying, like a shotgun rifle combo.
I think, yeah. I thought they were too. Yeah, it was like a 22 and then a 20 gauge. Or
now, if we're sitting around a ranch or something, I could see that being super useful. If you don't know you're going to come across a snake or a, you know, something with rabies, or you know, rabbits or something, or a bunch of mice, you know, you don't know what you're going to find. So having a couple of things in a bag of different kind of ammo for it, I could see that being super useful on a ranch.
Yeah, yeah. For behind the seat gun, for out in the ranch, excellent choice. Any kind of those you know, 22 410, 22 20 gauge, 22 12 gauge, that would be an excellent choice. You know, you could just sit behind the seat of the truck, and they're not an expensive gun. They're robust. Yeah, that'd be a good one.
They're sort of like having one of them screwdrivers where you can pull the shaft and flip it around, and it's like Phillips or standard, and then you can pull each of the bits and have like a smaller and a bigger one. So you basically got 4 screwdrivers in the size of one, and then if some good ones, you can pull the bit out, and you've got different size sockets or something there too. So, you know, it's sort of that kind of tool, right? It's not necessarily the tool you'd get if you were just going to be screwdrivering all day, or if you're like doing some kind of fine work on something. But for just having one tool in your tool belt or your, like you say, the door of your vehicle or something, and you just can grab it and use it as a pry bar or unscrew something or poke a hole in something with it. And, you know, you'll replace it if it gets destroyed, but you basically leave it in the vehicle, so it's always staged there. You know, that's how I think of these kind of guns. They're just as used as general purpose as possible, and just kind of rugged and small and cheap.
Yeah, Swiss Army guns.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of just being a one blade knife, they've got a couple of different options, so they're not perfect for everything, but they can get a lot better job done on, you know, quickly than
Using it. Yeah, yeah, excellent. I mean, that's really, they're just a utilitarian firearm that gives you a couple of different options. So I think they're a great idea.
We barely talk about them very much, but that's something that maybe somebody can take into another chat and explore, or if you've got some, consider doing some videos on them or something. But that's our first topic today. Unless anybody else has anything else, I'm going to say for the sake of time, we dig into the next one.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so that'll take us into the gun biz. We're going to talk about guns and food, since we're talking about the gun business, specifically maybe food at gun shops, or somehow food that has something to do with guns somehow, or food that you might use. I don't know if there's anything marketed specifically for guns, kind of like some of those coffees are, you know, kind of marketed to gun people. So I don't know how we want to take that one. But before we go into that, we take a break between the first and second segment of the show each day, and we feature one of the members over at Gun Channels. Gun Channels is a place we built. It's a community. It's focused on firearms, and it's completely driven by its membership. And because of that, we take a break here at this segment of the show each day and feature one of the members over there. We're coming up on our 4th anniversary, and since the beginning, one of the guys that's been around forever is Marco. Now we're going in order of the people we met on the Gun Show Loophole Tour. So we just met Moon in Pennsylvania and then headed south to Washington, D.C. And Marco let me stay with him for a bit, and just a heck of a guy. I've known him now since 2011 or 12, and he's just been a real gracious host every time I've gone to DC since 2012. He's been real gracious, and like I say, he's a good guy. When he travels, you know, he has a real good time. And back in, I think 12, or no, it couldn't have been 12, so 13, maybe 14, probably 14. Marco asked if he could help with the Gun Channels Instagram account. I said, sure, thanks for the offer. And he not only did well with it, he succeeded better than pretty much all the other Instagrammers out there. And in just months, he brought it to hundreds of thousands of subs. And then at some point, I told him, look, you're doing all the work here. And sure, it's tagged with Gun Channels, but it's not a Gun Channels thing anymore. It's your project. So he put the little underscore at the end and kept going with it. And we still have a Gun Channels one that if anybody wants to play with it, let me know. But Marco took that and took it well beyond just helping out Gun Channels and flew with it. And he's got 300,000 subs on Instagram, which is no small feat. That takes tremendous effort, and more than just effort. It's not just a recipe. It takes a bit of knowledge and perception of what's going on. Marco is definitely aware of what's hot and what's not and that kind of thing. And yeah, the Instagram is a perfect match for him, really. So he's rocking with it. He's bringing Pink with him to places to check out events and meet up with people and network. And I think most people on the scene know who Marco is if they haven't met him and know exactly who he is and have his phone number. And he's a great ally for the Gun Channels crew. And yeah, exactly the kind of people we built Gun Channels for. People that didn't even know they wanted to be creators once they've played around with it a little bit. He really enjoyed it. And basically by himself with some help from me and Pink, he's assistance, really, not so much help, but you know, he's taken it to massive levels. And what's cool about that is Marco's done the entire thing transparently with the people at Gun Channels, and he offers assistance and tips and guidance and coaching and counseling on using Instagram. Everybody uses Instagram a little bit differently, but it's nice to have somebody who has 300 and something thousand subs who knows pretty much everybody out there, that you have his ear. You can ask him a question, he'll answer you. And he's helped out lots of other guys and gals over there. And anyway, that's one of the reasons we built Gun Channels, so that we could foster an environment that lets that stuff happen. And that wasn't something that could be engineered. Nobody could sit down in 2011 and say, what are we going to do with how can we get Marco to be one of the biggest guys on Instagram? So that's part of the fun of gun channels. It's not a profitable thing, but as far as experiences like that, it's ultimately profitable.
Yeah, I've met Marco a couple times now, and he's a really good guy. He's hilarious. But yeah, he's definitely an asset to the whole team.
Yeah, definitely an interesting character. He's a very good guy too. So.
I would say he's like Bob put a finger out there. He's a real deal. He's not just playing an act like Bob. Bob's English. He doesn't even have a Canadian accent normally. He just plays Canadian for the radio or for the podcast.
Yeah.
All right, so we feature a member every day. Like I say, we're kind of been going in the order of people we met on the tour. However, if you'd like to, suggest someone for the member of the day, feel free to let us know. It's dailygunshow@gmail.com.
Blimey, mate, you're letting my secrets out.
Well, Moon has made a good point over there. Most of Marco's success is because he knows Autoloader or Moon Food. And yeah, that's the secret of his genius, though, is that he knows people who are influencers and knows how to stand in their wake, in their shadow, so to speak.
That's true.
He's
Well,
when you go up behind a truck and tailgate it. What's that called, Bob?
Bumper signing? I don't know.
No, when you pull drafting, he's drafting off Autoloader. All right, so that'll take us to the next segment, which is guns and food in the gun business specifically. So first thing I can think of is JPFO, Jews for Preservation of Firearms Ownership, the in-your-face gun rights group. They do a set of cookie cutters. I think it's $19, and you get a revolver and a pistol cookie cutter. So I think that's one of them. That's guns and food. But I guess it's not really the business, other than nonprofit.
You know, when I go up to because people that don't know, I'm in Arizona, and I go up to the mountains from time to time, and like I'll bring food with me when I'm going out shooting, and that kind of stuff. And I was thinking, like, man, it'd be pretty cool if sometimes you end up spending all day at the range. They had like a little snack area or something like that. I don't know. That's the way
so many ranges have snack bars. That's actually kind of a thing in Arizona that we don't have them. There's a lot of them I've been to have elaborate or less elaborate, but usually they have something. And I think that has something to do with the classes maybe too. I know ranges almost always had a place for refreshments, but not so large. But I'm thinking now that they start having classes in them and you got 20 people showing up often, it makes it worth their while to have some food.
Yeah, I haven't seen a snack bar yet. I did see one time out in Apache Junction, they were doing some kind of a class while I was at the range, and they had one of them roach coaches pull up for them, but never seen an actual snack bar. That'd be cool to see out here.
Yeah, that's a good idea too, that having something that doesn't have to be permanent, that can be an arrangement with another business, so you can, trade or somehow, make it worth each other's while. And then if they're not so great, you just call a different truck next time. That's a good idea. And then you don't have to have like a permanent staff and all the issue with paying, buying all that equipment. And
so that's going to be a plan for the next gun channel shoot, is we're going to have a food coach, food truck come out there.
I don't know about that. I think, I don't know. You say for the gun channel shoot?
Yeah, I mean, it'd make Dano happy.
Where's our shoot in Tulsa? I don't know where the shoot is, but Midnight Range is saying I thought it'd be great to do a gun shop range cafe, have good prices on ammo, and that they could shoot at the range. Nice little cafe with a small menu. With real food, as opposed to just like frozen stuff or pre-made. So yeah, that's, like I say, that's not uncommon. There are quite a few, and I wouldn't even want to say I'm surprised, because you see it every once in a while. Whenever there's something that has a food attached to it, every once in a while somebody wants to stand out or whatever, and they've got an actual restaurant attached to it, not just Tombstone pizzas and frozen hamburgers type of snack bar. So I think that's a great idea. I've heard of one that I don't think it ever came to be, or maybe it did, and I'm thinking of someone describing it, but I've heard of the idea of like a diner cafe type of restaurant, and then one side of the building or wall, or one wall of the place being glass, and then on the other side of that glass you have gunsmiths doing gunsmithing work. So imagine something like that, one of those TV shows where they had the room of gunsmiths, except one, instead of being a television camera, it's one wall is just clear wall, and you've got people eating over on the one side, kind of watching the day-to-day operations of a gunsmithing operation. And the one I heard of wasn't just boring gunsmithing, but like the higher end stuff with the more fancy engraving and different stuff.
And like I think by the same token, you could have it where you could have the firing line on the other side of the glass, and you could be sitting there, having your coffee and lunches and watching people shoot.
Yeah, well, that's definitely a thing at some of the ranges, especially think about Vegas. Look at some of the videos or the reviews of the rental and the what do you call it, like firearms tourism places in Vegas, and they have some of the more deluxe, or at least examples of the fanciest sitting areas, what do you want to call that, either for people that are waiting or people that you brought with you. It's basically, those kind of places are good for teaching your wife what it's like to have to go to the mall, right?
You see how I feel?
10 or 15 minutes. Sit here. I'll be right back.
That's a good one. I like that. That's funny.
And then what about branded foods and stuff? I think there's some potential. We talked about the coffee one originally there, but I think there's some potential. Like I live in Tucson. There's got to be something here. I eat weird food, but there's probably places that either freeze a what do you call them, a tamale, or do some kind of a frozen sandwich or some shit that people can send around, or maybe they do like a candy bar or popcorn or some kind of treat. And maybe there's a way to collaborate between shops and a place like that. So now they're doing, so and so's roast or such and such blend of, fancy popcorns or something, and then have those available at your stores, like our store's blend or our store's unique flavor. Everybody eats. That's what I'm getting at. And
Yep.
Dang, I want to go to Dog Body's range. He says they have 3 food trucks all the time. You can get burgers, tacos, or Chinese. So
Really?
you get like a variety. That's awesome.
And that's something else, I guess, if we think about it. If we were to eat more when we go to the range, if that was part of our tradition or whatever, part of our thing when you go to the range, then why wouldn't food trucks show up? They're going to show up at car washes and anything that they can, where they can get a couple of dollars and make it worth their while, right? So
like a golf club, like you go to a golfing, and they have the 19th hole. It's when you're done golfing, you sit down, you can have something to eat, a drink, whatever, right? That would be kind of
hard alcohol or whatever being more of a harder sell, because I don't think everybody's interested in that when they're done shooting. But a lot of ranges just settle for a soda machine or a snack machine, vending. And there's definitely people out there that need money, that have vans or food trucks, or even a regular vehicle with a pop-up tent and some tables can be a impromptu snack area, snack bar. And depending on what you got there, I think there's really some options for healthy stuff too. And I want to encourage that. We used to do the healthy tip. I try to eat healthy when I can. I'm in the mood, I guess. And a lot of that isn't like you have to pre-plan it and make a decision and sacrifice or nothing. But if somebody were to bring a food truck out there and just have a bale of, or what do you call it, a thing of apples and some oranges and whatnot, then that gives people, I'd rather eat an apple or an orange when I'm out at the range, honestly, than like a candy bar, because that just sits in you. Maybe it gives you that burst of energy, but it's something that's, fruit or whatever is going to give you that more, what is it, dispersed or whatever they call it. It comes, it doesn't hit you and it stays, kind of trickles out. And it fills you up. You eat an apple and you feel satisfied. You're back to doing whatever you're doing, and it's like 80% water and then fiber. So, it's giving you a little bit of hydration and making you feel satisfied. So that's an amazing opportunity to get two things accomplished.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. See, Bob, he's like, yeah, whatever, apples.
Now a big old chunk of beef or something, that'd be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know. Do we want to go anywhere else with food and guns? A coffee gun club bookshop would be nice. Well, I think he said coffee gun book gun shop. So have a place that's just a gun library. I think that would be cool. I think you'd have to have a pretty big town, but yeah, a gun library would be a pretty cool thing to have with a little Starbucks or something attached to it, something like that, except with a gun company's coffee.
Yep, and have some real like manly food involving meat.
All right, well, a lot of dead air. So I guess we'll keep going. So that'll take us into the gun of the day.
Yeah, why not? Let's talk about being we kind of were talking about different guns. What about the Stevens Model 410-22? All right, older gun, but that classic over and under 22 on top and 410 on the bottom. Again, like to say, these are just utilitarian, useful guns to have around the farm or the ranch. Just something to be able to take out there and, like I say, get game or dispatch a rabbit animal or possibly even take an animal, like take something for meat. So yeah, I think they're a really neat little gun. And Stevens, that's an older, very old, like just a iconic, I guess, gun manufacturer. It's now, of course, defunct, but was prolific earlier on.
Oh yeah, I had a Stevens little pump 12 gauge before, and what are they? They're Savage now, I think.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Stevens Savage. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
The Savage bought them out, I guess, but yeah, I think they're just a really cool little gun. I guess say pretty simple, but useful. I mean, there's one that says it's a USAF. So, I mean, did the Air Force use them for survival guns?
Not that.
No, they did use that kind of thing, though, right?
Not that huge. Look at that one. That one's like a full-size shotgun. That's probably just engraved with it or something.
Oh, yeah, could be.
Maybe like this one. I don't know. Little shorty.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, and you could get them quite short, quite handy. And, yeah, just really versatile little gun.
Do you think that they just quit making these kind of things because people don't use them anymore? They weren't that good of an idea? Or everybody just killed all the little rabbits and stuff and there ain't no more rabbits that they need to shoot with it?
I think they were a really good idea, and they do still make guns like this. I mean, it's not like these things have completely disappeared. I'm pretty sure they're still being manufactured. Maybe not in the U.S. anymore, but yeah, I mean, they're just a really neat little versatile little gun.
They still make them. I guess I'm thinking that they don't make anywhere near that many of them I don't know how many percentage-wise they used to make, but nobody walks around shooting stuff anymore. Little kids ain't allowed to just go walk around and target that community. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah, this would have been an ideal gun to give a kid out in the farm, and he could go out and, you know, maybe get a rabbit or.
I don't want to take the gun to school again. You're taking the gun to school, and you're coming home with 2 rabbits.
Or you ain't eating.
Exactly, and here's 2 bullets. Don't miss.
I guess since we're talking about this one, what about that other gun of the day? That we're going to throw it out to the audience here. We were originally going to do the Stevens 425 high power, but we're going to throw it out to the audience and see if anybody heard of this one.
Bob just made up that gun. There's no such.
Can anyone find anything out about the Stevens 425?
So it's Stevens high power number 425, 22 inches, 5 cartridges, caliber 25 Remington.
Who would want 5 rounds of 25 Remington?
Yeah, that's probably why there's no info on this rifle.
But it's a lever action. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it does utilize the lever.
Oh, how unique.
But 25 Remington, that's a weird caliber.
Well, probably hence the 425, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If you read that old-timey article in there, it'll tell you that it was a desperate, fast reaction to the 9mm trend that they saw coming. They were like, we got to get any caliber out there to compete with that. It's horrible.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I guess those were the guns of the day.
Yes, those were the guns of the day.
Hey, you know what? Since I'm already screen sharing and I'm already here and I'm already doing this, let's get into some of that.
It's also a desperate attempt to get away from that horrible gun of the day.
Wow.
Can you believe that was our gun of the day on a Friday? The whole week led up to that.
Well, I got a different gun for everybody out there, kind of try to make up for it. So everybody knows what that sound means. So crack your knuckles, whip out them keyboards, and actually whip out your eyeballs. We need this is a visual test today. So you guys seen the answers, right? Because I'm screen sharing. So I can't get over there. This
I can't watch anything.
Another little guess that gun thing, a visual quiz. So there it is. There is your quiz, everybody. What is this? Let me make sure it doesn't say it in there. What is this, guy? And anybody says Tavor is getting banned from the chat immediately.
I know.
A QZB.
Negative.
It's not a FAMAS. It's not a 38 Super.
Negative.
A later Travis.
No.
An early Travis. T85.
Nope.
T95.
Oh, wait, what was the first one?
Wrong.
Yeah, okay.
T85. FEG is not correct. 89S is not correct. Similar, but not correct. I think he's looking for a model number, not just a description of a bullpup or whatever.
Look at that weird little thingy in there in that carry handle, you know? Come on, look at the thing and the thing and the thing. Come on, guys.
86S.
The thing and the thing and the thing.
So we had a winner from Angry Norinco 86. Yes.
Yes, I'll take the S. It was a Norinco Type 86. Congrats, Angry.
Wow. Does that mean angry is once a day? The tactical hot shot of the day. Congratulations, Angry. Way to go, man.
Yep. Out once a day wins. That's great. All right. So every day we do a pop quiz. Today, Angry win it. And he'll head over to dailygunshow.com/pop quiz. Let us know. Well, he doesn't have to send anything. We'll just hand it off to him. But whenever there's a winner, we like to use our Patreon loot to send stuff out. So I want to thank the people that have given us stuff over the years to give away. And then thank the people that are contributing to the show on Patreon that are going to allow us to start sending stuff out. We'll do videos and pictures as we send stuff out, so you have an idea what's going out. And then we'll encourage people that win to post it as well on their end. All right, so I guess we'll keep going. That'll take us to the gun shop of the day.
That sounds good.
I'll screen share here. So we're doing...
If anyone has ideas that make things better for working...
So we are going through some of the items or some of the places that we visited on the Gun Show Loophole Tour. And this was on one of the pre-tours. After going up and hanging out in Phoenix, I came down the back way to Tucson and checked out the Pima Pistol Club. So right now we just came off the main road and it's in fast motion here going down the road. I think I'm saying stuff though, so I'm just gonna stop saying stuff and let me say stuff. Let me know if you can hear it already.
Take a look at one of the shooting ranges here in Tucson, Arizona. It's called the
Have we done this one already?
I don't think so. No, I don't remember it.
Pistol Club. This one is unique to the other ranges in town because it's run by its members, unlike a private organization or run by the state. So it's a club, and it's, as you see off the road here a ways, we turned off of Oracle Road. That's the main road there. And we'll drive back through, past that school, through this neighborhood. Eventually we'll find a sign on a telephone pole that'll take us right or south down into the foothills of this hills here so we can get to the range. I did a video back in 2009 similar to this one where we held a camera as we drove back. I'll link to it in the description. It's interesting to see the change in the roads since over the last 8 years. Anyhow, once we finally get down to the range here, you'll see what we're talking about, but we'll start to describe the range. Now, first off, we would never drive down to the range this quickly. This is about 3 times the speed you'd want to drive in there. Of course, you wouldn't want to aggravate all those people that live along the road. But it is a soft sand road, so occasionally there are issues with people having access to the range with their vehicle's ability. Also, whenever it rains, there's a potential for the last wash before you actually hit the entrance to the range being flooded out. So that's about the only time they will close the range. Otherwise, it's open pretty much every day except Christmas and Thanksgiving. It's an old range. The club has been in existence since 1920. Back in 1968, they moved from their old location to this location. So this range has been here since 1968. There's quite a few bays. If we, as we drive through the range here, we're going to see the main building where you used to sign in. Now it's like the offices, the bathrooms, and some classrooms. You now sign in over to the left by the 100-yard range. But as we move past this first building, we're going to get to 2 of the other bays where they hold a lot of the shooting competitions. You might recognize those from some of the channels that filmed the various competitions here at Pima Pistol Club. There are 10 different ranges and an archery range right now, but they do change the ranges up occasionally. Sometimes a bad storm will destroy some of the berms and they'll take that opportunity to change things up. Other times, just depending on use and interest, they'll take some bulldozers out and move the berms around and change the bays. Honestly, it's been a while since I've shot out there, so once you go through that gate to our right there, go south into those last bays, that I know has been changed since the last time I shot out there, so I'm not totally sure how the arrangement is anymore. But if you go to their website, they have a PDF you can see how the bays are arranged now. Notice on that little scorekeeping booth there, for those 2 ranges, there's a sign from Tucson Guns. They've been a supporter of ours since the beginning, and they also have supported the Pima Pistol Club, both as a range and some of the big competitions like the state IDPA matches and stuff that they'll have out at the range. As we drive north again through the parking lot area, I'll turn right here and we'll be able to see the handgun range, which is all in blue over to the left there. It's kind of behind those trees. And then the 100-yard range is right in front of us here. And that's the sign-in area. So a great range, again, run by its members, and it's been around since 1920, since 1968 in this location. So I hope that this is interesting for people that are curious about some of our ranges here in Tucson. We encourage you to take a video or pictures of your range and share them with everybody on the web. If you have any questions, let us know. And as always, thanks for watching.
Yeah, that's nice.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's this 100-yard. I don't really have good pictures of it. The only thing really annoying about this range is at the end of this 100-yard, the main range, really, the main bay, where everybody does most of their rifle shooting. Some jerk like built a house out here on a hill, like way up. Like there's the back of our berm, then it's probably like a wash or two, and then this house. So it's pretty far out there, but it's just weird to be shooting towards a house. And yeah, it's odd. But
yeah, it's probably the worst location for real estate I've ever heard of.
I mean, it's just a dot. It would be like a little dot on the hill over here, but yeah, it's odd. So, and there's, you can't really tell, but when we went south there and we're looking, okay, so this is in the parking lot looking south. Tucson is on the other side of this ridge. So this is way more than, it's like an hour to my place. So this is way north of Tucson. And this is the south side of it. Over to the right here, it's all horse properties. So used to shoot over here this way for the long range, from the farther off the screen to our right to way farther off screen to our left, and the noise would piss off those horses and stuff. So it's one of these things. It's been here longer than some of the neighbors, and I don't know what people are thinking. Oh yeah, let me buy some property right next to a range that's been there since 1968, and then complain about it. Here's that thing, you can't really tell the house, but it's like up here someplace. When you're sitting on the range, you can kind of see it. So yeah, it's the kind of struggles you have when you build a range in 1968 way the heck out of town, and then sprawl happens, and all of a sudden you got houses all around, and then these are kind of foothills, so these houses aren't small, and those people, I don't know, somehow expect that everything should shut down around them that makes noise, I guess. So anyway, I know they have some issues like that, but it's a club, it's not a government thing, so that's good. They don't have, you know, the people around don't have, they can't just bully the government to shut it down like they've done with other ranges in Tucson that had people grow up around them, and they've got a pretty decent user base. You know, the club is active, so it's going to be tough for anybody to suggest that, you know, this thing has existed and been heavily used since 1968, and then I came along and sat down. Now you and all you people have to quit doing your thing because I live here. So I think they've got some precedence there, and you know, it's one of those, it just illustrates one of those struggles that we have. You know, until they give us all suppressors for nothing.
Yeah, no, that happened to my local range in Saskatoon. You know, like the city just moved out around it, and they had to sell the land and relocate. You know, it was just, there were houses everywhere. It just became to where the houses surrounded the gun range, and it was no longer a viable option. Luckily, they were able to sell the land for a lot of money and then buy an even bigger range out of town. But still, you know, you had to restart everything that had been there for years and years.
Yep, that never works. The 3 Points range has moved twice, so they'll just keep moving you further out of town.
Yeah, eventually you're having to drive an hour and a half just to get to the range instead of just 10 minutes.
So that's our gun shop of the day. We do feature a shop every single day. This time a range, but a shop every single day. And the idea is to remind people that you've got a phone in your pocket. That phone probably has a really decent camera on it. And if you ask the shop that when you go in there, if you could take a couple of pictures, more than likely they're going to say sure. And we encourage you to take some pictures, share them on your gun channels or on your Facebook or on your YouTube, and then send us a link to dailygunshow@gmail.com. And we'll be happy to help feature your local ranges or your local shops. And that's a big part of our show. So feel free to participate in that. All right. So another thing we try to do on the daily is the gun movie. So we try to think of a gun-related movie each day, something you might not have seen in a while. Or if you're a youngin', something you ain't seen yet. Today we're looking at The Thing. I'm assuming we're talking about the original.
Definitely. Yeah, this one was sent in by Angry to the dailygunshow@gmail.com. He sent this to our email, so I appreciate it. Let's see here. Got it. So yeah, The Thing.
Who
And yeah, I
saw
would go with the original one.
this? Is Carpenter, and it's I guess it's a horror. I don't know if it's really horror. It's a thriller, but it's science fiction kind of also. That's why I like it. And it's sort of what guy's in Antarctica?
Yeah.
Remote, and there's an alien or something.
Yeah, they flew out there to do something with something. It was like I remember them going into a generator, and yeah, there was a big alien.
So it's kind of cool. They created an environment that's remote, but still not in space or anything, but very much like a space movie. And then kind of like, well, it's an interesting movie. So I think most people like it when they've seen it.
Yeah. And it was a good learning lesson too. Most guns won't work on aliens. You got to get big. With
yeah, really. Although I did like the HK that the Norwegians had.
Yeah, that guy flying around.
Yep. Trust the Norwegians to have a German gun.
I'm pretty sure a nice solid double-aught buck would have did some damage too.
Oh, well, you know, not if it can just
reform.
Yeah.
Now there was the meat and potatoes of the movie. That was the star of the movie right here.
Yeah, gotta like a flamethrower.
Oh yeah, who doesn't?
That's true. I don't think I know anyone who doesn't like flamethrowers.
Or at least get a smile on their face when they see one go out. You know, I don't know. Unless I guess you're on the business end of it, then that wouldn't be too happy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that kind of. I mean.
Yeah.
But I think that was a good movie. I would give that. Yeah, 2 solid thumbs up for sure.
Yeah, definitely giving it 2 thumbs up. Must see. I would even suggest going out of your way to see it if you had the time.
Yep. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, for sure, I would say go out of your way to see it.
Don't bother with the remake. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't the original.
No. Kind of one of these, let's make a woman the hero.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I must have seen the new one because I didn't like it, but I don't remember it very well.
It was the chick was what's his name? Him, Russell. She was the lead. But yeah, I would definitely check the.
Definitely a big part of that first one too, though. I mean, he played such an iconic type character, you know, the sombrero in the Antarctic.
Yeah, seriously, he was an Antarctic cowboy for the most part, you know.
Mm.
So there you go.
So that's today's movie, and I think it's a really good one. I think, like you were saying, Jimmy, everybody should. If you haven't seen it, go out of your way, go watch it. It's really a good movie. Like, real edge of your seat for parts of it, and yeah.
Well, I'm on the fence. I like the movie, fine, but I think I'm gonna not give it 2, give it 1, because I feel like if I give too many of them 2s, then people don't know, like when I'm really adamant about a movie. So this one's good. I'd give it 1.5 if that was a thing, but I don't believe in 1.5, so I'm gonna just give it 1. But I agree with you guys. It's something that you should see because there's so many people that reference it, and it's such a like I say, so many people have seen it that we all end up talking about things from it.
Mm-hmm.
But I could also see somebody who's not into old 70s-ish movies, or not into Kurt Russell, or not into sci-fi, or not into aliens, that, you know, it's all that stuff. So if you didn't like any of that stuff, I guess you wouldn't like it.
Or if you're not a true American and don't believe in liberty, freedom, and Kurt Russell, you know.
Yeah, pretty much.
Played Snake Plissken. Probably doesn't believe in you, so there.
Well, Well, I think we're doing a pretty good job of keeping it on time today. We talked about, oh no, we have one more segment still. We talked about gun tech, we talked about the gun biz. We did all of our daily stuff pretty much, except we still have a topic. So alternative gun topics, unlicensed copies. I forgot what it was that got us talking about this or putting this one in here the other day. We were talking about something though.
Well, I mean, yeah, you really want to get into unlicensed copies, get into the Chinese. I mean, they make more unlicensed firearm copies than anyone, right?
More than the Canadians? You unscrupulous bitches.
Hey.
All right.
Well, the Canadians take from the Chinese, so there's,
We just buy right? We just buy what they produce. That's, that's not copying. That's just being frugal. If you can make a decent copy, I have to say the Norinco M14 clones, I've shot them. They're a little cruder than the real M14. I've also shot those and I've handled those, but they work. They shoot good. So, if the patents run out, if you're not actually, stealing from them, and you're just making a copy because the patents run out or whatever, why not? Why shouldn't you be able to? If you can make if you can make a reasonable facsimile that's a reasonable price, go for it. That's kind of been done all over the States too, right? Like,
oh yeah, what's it called? Taurus. They have I think it's Smith and Wesson's machining or something like that. All their stuff. So.
Sure. And like when the bore through patent for the bored through cylinder ran out on Smith and Wesson, maybe they weren't making complete copies, but everybody was certainly using that technology and that what had been patented to their own guns. So I think it's okay. Now,
go ahead.
I was going to say, if the company still has a patent and you're just stealing their ideas and producing it, that's kind of crappy.
Yeah, I was going to say pretty much everybody stole from Colt and Browning for the most part.
Oh yeah, I mean, pretty much every semi-automatic is based more or less on Browning's original designs.
Well, it's Friday, so we've got some shows coming up tonight, but we also like to hit a day in history, what happened in history today. And today's an interesting day. So to begin with, back in, let's see, 1818, the United States and Britain established the 49th parallel as the boundary between Canada and the United States. But an interesting historical fact is that was juxtaposed, and it's supposed to be the 94th parallel. And it sounds like we've got some bills in Congress to make up for that. So we're going to push Canada up to the 94th parallel, and we'll call that the boundary between Canada and the United States. They're going to look like a small strip up in Greenland.
Cool. Does that mean I get gun laws or gun rights?
We're gonna use that part of the country as we're gonna model your laws after California.
Oh, come on, that's not fair.
So then here's another interesting one that came in our favor in 1903. So a little while later, a joint commission set up on January 24th, I guess concluded today. Great Britain and the United States arbitrate the disputed Alaskan boundary and rules in favor of the United States. The vote decides that U.S. gains ports on the panhandle coast of Alaska. So today in 1903 is when we stole the whole coast of the western side of Canada and called it Alaska. And England was like, yep, looks good to us. And Canada was like, dang it, we have to do whatever England says. So then, yeah. So today's the day.
There was a few more words than that, but
not only did we accidentally set it up as the 49th parallel as the boundary between us, we're gonna rectify that, but we also snagged most of the Canadian coast from them and put it into Alaska. So this is a great day for the United States, a horrible day for Canada. So we should probably all celebrate, at least down here.
Except me, I'm going to mourn.
Well, let's see. There was also 1938 Czechoslovakia complying with Nazi policy, outlaws Communist Party, and begins persecuting Jews. So Czechoslovakia, the country that Bob loves so much, not perfect. Not perfect.
No, but they're working on it.
Well, they at least came back.
Gun.
They were taken over, but they didn't comply. They complied, but they didn't like it. They didn't do it willingly. They had to be forced, and then as soon as they could, they undid it. So at least they got that going for them.
That's true, and they had to do that with not just the Nazis, but with the Russians as well. So,
Mickey Mantle was born today in 1931. Tom Petty, who just died the other day, I think, is he actually did die, right?
Yeah, he's dead.
He was born today in 1941, same day that Snoop Doggy Dogg was born, in 1971.
Yep.
So that's your day in history. But we alluded to some shows tonight. This is Friday, so it's a big night for shows. We've got, after this show, Pants and Pawnery will typically run a lobby. So if you want to sit around and hang out and talk guns or listen to people talking guns, head over to Gun Channels, and there's a place called The Lobby, and you'll see the text for it on the main page. But if you go up to the top and click on live, there's a link there to the lobby, and you can watch the conversation. If people are sharing screens or looking at something with their camera, you can watch. Otherwise, join in and be part of the conversation. That'll run up until the evening shows. Call them the primetime shows. We'll start up. We've got Clover today, I think is the first one, doing his Friday show. And then Edge will be doing Edge of the Week. And I'm not sure if anybody else is doing a show tonight, but there's definitely room in the schedule. If somebody wants to do a late night Friday show, like a weekly wrap up or something like that, more than welcome to. You're encouraged to do so. We'll add it to the calendar. Saturday, we have Travis in the morning doing Caliber Corner. Rick does Rick's Life as I See It in the afternoons. And Sundays is Yankee and Matt do their solo chats. And sometime in the afternoon, Yoder, Texas usually posts a link to Come and Talk It, which is a syndicated radio show out of Texas, which is a gun talk show. It's been going on for a long time, well produced, and it's a cool show. Then there'll be Monday, and Jimmy starts out the day with Early Watch, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. That'll take you right up until the Daily Gun Show. Our show starts at noon on Monday.
Excellent. Sounds like an excellent weekend. So,
well, this weekend we got the Arizona Citizens Defense League has their yearly meeting, so that'll be happening in Tucson. It's also Big Sandy, so actually, as we speak, the Big Sandy machine gun shoot is starting up. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get up there this weekend. I was really hoping to, but the funds just aren't there. Jimmy, I think, is in the same boat, so he's trying to make some money instead of spending money this weekend, and we'll just have to try to get to it next time it shows up in March. Otherwise, it should be a fun weekend for everybody, and let us know in emails or on Gun Channels if you want to contribute something. Maybe you went shooting to the range or something, or you went to a new shop and you want to share it on the show.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that's about got everything wrapped up. So we'll end this thing with our quote as usual. This one's by Thomas Jefferson. Before that, though, I'd like to remind everybody, please like, share, subscribe, thumbs up. If you can, support us on Patreon. The link to Patreon will be in the video description. So anyway, let's get on with this quote by one of the founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson. Nothing can stop the man with the right mental attitude from achieving his goal. Nothing on earth can help the man with the wrong mental attitude. So on those words of wisdom, thanks everybody, and we'll see you Monday.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.